Starting off the morning here with some tough breaking news as it has come in that Ayo Dosunmu will miss the remainder of the season. We got to talk about the implications and what happened to Ayo. All that and more in today's edition of the Chicago Bulls Breeze. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Bulls, how Bulls fans talk, so make sure that you stay in tune with us, man, as unfortunately some tough breaking news coming across the docket. Ayo Dosunmu to have season-ending shoulder surgery. Now, remember in the last game we saw Ayo, he seemed like he had that shoulder heavily taped up, and it may be something that could be lingering, could be concerning in the long run. It seems like that was, in fact, the case, which is tough to see. But the conversation around Ayo, I think, gets interesting because you really were utilizing him, and I really feel like he was having one of those seasons where you realized he was just kind of that everyman that you needed. I mean, like 12 points a game on 49% shooting, 32% from three. The three-point shooting numbers woefully down this season, but I was going through a couple of different role changes. I mean, being thrown into the starting lineup, being the point guard, being the shooting guard, being the small forward at some points this season, back to the bench. But whatever you needed Ayo to be, Ayo was willing to be. I remember in that second Detroit game after the Bulls just get absolutely eviscerated, right? And we were like, wow, this team just has no heart, no fight. They don't care. Ayo Dosunmu was the one that came out in the next game and said, yo, we're not doing this. Y'all not finna punk us in our building 2 times in a row. And Ayo was the one who wanted to spark a little bit of a kerfuffle, shall we say. It was nothing serious, but just to show, hey, listen, you got to have some heart. You got to have some fight. You got to have some drive, right? Ayo is the kind of player that you want on your team. And I think that, listen, the Bulls, I don't expect this to be a long term problem for the Bulls here. I think that you're having this surgery now because of the season being where the season is. You give him the rest of the year to have the surgery, deal with starting the rehab process. He's got the entire offseason. Hopefully you have him back in there by training camp. I'm assuming that is the hope here. Not going to be a ton of offseason work that he's going to be able to get in, but again, what are we looking for Ayo Dosunmu to be? You know what I mean? To me, I feel like he's trying to take on that Alex Caruso role, and I thought he did a solid job at it, up in the assist numbers. Defensively, I thought he was much more locked in this season than we've seen him maybe since his first year in the league. I think that he's been somebody who you can rely on to be able to guard just about anybody. He's been one of the vocal leaders on this team. I think we've really seen Ayo Dosunmu grow this season, and so it's tough to lose him to a injury like this, but at the end of the day, I don't think that this is the end of the world for the Bulls. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you feel like this is a tough situation here for the Bulls the rest of the season, or are you in the camp of, listen, get yourself right, get yourself healthy, let's get back into this heading into next year? Because when I talked about the other day, right, on Locked On Bulls, the Bulls having some foundational pieces, I do believe Ayo Dosunmu is one of those pieces. To me, when I look at Ayo, I think that he's somebody that you want to have around for the foreseeable future. And it's going to be tough, right? Because there's going to be this. Now Kobe White has the opportunity to maybe surpass that, get the scoring going, all of that. But I think that the Bulls want Ayo to stick around. And on top of that, no matter what you say about what this young man has gone through this season, whether it's been an up and down season or not, it just feels like he's one of those pieces that when you find that star player, you want to have an Ayo Dosunmu next to him. Almost essentially, like I've said this a couple of times, although I think he may end up being a little bit better with on the defensive side, actually a lot better on the defensive side. But I've said this a ton of times. Ayo Dosunmu reminds me of a Kirk Heinrich kind of player, somebody who, you know, when you get that Derrick Rose, hey, what do you need me to do? You need me to be the 2 guards? You need me to be the 3? You need me to be more of a shooter? You need me to be more of a defender? What do you need me at? You know what I mean? So I think for me, seeing Ayo and how he played this season, I'm very excited to see kind of where this is going to continue. Hopefully, you're able to find a big name piece in the draft. But when you pair him up with Josh Giddey, when you pair him up with Matas Buzelis, when you pair him up with a lot of the names that have been added to this starting lineup, even right. Give me a Kevin Huerter with Ayo Dosunmu, right? I think that was a dynamic that could have been something special there. Haven't seen a ton of Ayo since the break with Huerter, but I think that, you know, if you're running those two off of the bench together, that's a fun dynamic that I would like to see. How does Ayo fit in with the Zach Collins dynamic? I feel like you look at Ayo as the, hey, we need you to mold and fit into whatever this missing piece is here, and he can do that. And so for me, when you're talking about foundational pieces, I think that Ayo Dosunmu is that. I'm glad that he's having, if he does need it, this surgery now, because now you get the opportunity to rehab your entire body, get yourself back on track, start this next season on the right foot, and listen, become one of the, and now's the time where I want Ayo, right, have the surgery. I'm sure that he'll be back on the sideline soon. We're going to be in the play-in. Be that vocal leader, right? Be that guy who, hey, this is what you're missing. This is what you need to see. This is where you need to be, that extra coach off of the bench. Like that, to me, I think is something where at times when you can see the game sitting back, because Ayo's been healthy, right? Throughout his career, he's not been an injury-prone player. 77 games rookie year, 80 games second year, 76 games last season, right? This is the time where you just get to examine the game, get to watch the game, learn where you need to be, learn the spots where you fit in, where you can make the most impact, learn where your teammates can make the most impact, become that Alex Caruso, full-on Caruso kind of player where even off of the bench, you can point things out. Okay, you got to see this. This is how you got to move here. Hey, I need you rotating on this. We've seen AC do that when he's dealt with some of the injury issues that he had when he was here all of the time. And so for me, I think this is a great opportunity for Ayo Dosunmu to kind of sit back and focus in on the game, learn where everybody fits in, because most of these guys are back next season, right? So you're going to be Kevin Huerter, Zach Collins, most of them are coming back. Trey Jones is the one exception. You're going to be in a position where you're going to get an opportunity to play with these guys, learn what the team is, and I think that can take Ayo's game to even another level when you can see the game more than you can play the game. So we'll see what ends up happening here, man. Hopefully this is all smooth and there are no long-standing issues. I don't expect there to be. I think this is going to be a fine situation for the Chicago Bulls. And I think this is let's be real, this is a logical move. You're playing for yet again another play-in tournament. The goal is to not make it out of the play-in tournament, I would assume. Right? I think that they want to compete here, but I would think the front office's worst scenario, even though AK did say he would rather make a play-in than have a lottery pick. But I think that the front office's worst scenario is you fight your way out of this play-in tournament, get into the playoffs, and miss out on a lottery pick scenario. So I don't think that this is a bad thing for the Bulls in the long run. In the long run, I actually think it probably ends up helping the team a little bit more, even because Ayo Dosunmu is one of those players who in the play-in tournament has absolutely balled out. So we'll see what ends up happening, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. See Red Nation. Stand up. Peace.